live look from the downtown cam in Fargo, North Dakota shows a wintry day, as usual for us here. We're accustomed to it. Some light snow falling. We are under a winter weather advisory with periods of snow adding up to about 2 to 4 inches in some areas. And we'll have some drifting snow as well because the winds are going to pick up a little bit. Welcome to InforumTV News. Here is what's happening. We have some breaking news this morning about the Fargo doctor who was acquitted of drugging and sexually assaulting his wife. You'll remember John Norberg. He has been given full custody of the couple's children. John and Alana Norberg's divorce case played out in court starting in January after he was acquitted of the criminal charges. And Forum reporter Emily Welker, also Forum reporter Mike Nowaski, you guys have been following this case, and new information this morning just a little bit ago.
Yeah, Mike texted me really early this morning. He and I have been checking the files pretty much every single day since their hearing wrapped up in this divorce case, and he said, hey, the judge finally filed the divorce decree. So I've got it here in my hands, and it's got some really interesting details in it. Essentially, it sort of followed the lines that the criminal case against John Norberg followed. Really kind of an amazing reversal of fortune, because we're talking about a guy who about a year ago was walking around charged with some very serious criminal charges. Right. All of a sudden he was acquitted. Now he's, as you said, he's got primary physical custody of his kids, which ironically was what his attorneys had argued in the criminal case was the reason his wife had cooked up these allegations against him in order to secure that custody of the children in their subsequent divorce. What the judge is saying is that essentially he is blaming Alana for what he calls lies about the unknowing administration of the drug propofol to her, saying those lies and the charges that followed were what caused her husband to really have to stop work, incur all of these expenses, so he doesn't think that it would be appropriate to reward her either financially with, child support or spousal support or anything like that after what this whole ordeal has cost John Norberg. And Mike got John on the phone, and essentially what Dr. Norberg told John was that, he said that people had always assured him that the truth would come out, and he says this is an instance of that happening. He wants his children to have a little bit of peace and some closure and none of the ongoing drama that we've seen over really the last more than a year with this family.
And the couple, well, I shouldn't say couple, they're not together anymore, obviously, but they still live in Fargo, and 3 children, is that right?
3 children. I think one of them is about to be a teenager pretty soon, so not quite maybe totally aware of all of the drama that's been reflected, of course, in the media and the community, but old enough to be certainly aware on some level that this has been happening to her family.
All right, and so this was it Judge Stephen Marquardt?
Stephen Marquardt was the one who heard it, and it was a really long, complicated series of days in this divorce. I mean, when you walked into that courtroom, you saw stacks and stacks and stacks and boxes and boxes and boxes of financial documents that everybody had to sort through in order to get to the bottom of how this family was ultimately going to be severed from one another.
All right. So primary physical custody given to Dr. John Norberg in this divorce case. And Mike Nowaski, as you said, spoke with Dr. Norberg, and his story is forthcoming in the Forum later on Inforum today and tomorrow.
And tomorrow, yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Emily Welker, with that breaking news about John Norberg. Well, let's go straight now to WDAY Storm Tracker meteorologist Daryl Richardson for the latest on our weather, stormy weather. Daryl?
Good morning again, everyone. Expecting another wave of snow to be moving in. It's been fairly quiet now for a while, and I'll put this back into motion. So this was wave number 1 down here, we'll call it number 1, and then here's wave number 2 working its way into the area. The first wave, many areas 1/2 inch to 1 inch of snow. The second wave, probably another 1 to 3 inches of snow, which will mean in the end many of us will end up in the 2 to 4 inch category from this event. Winter weather advisory is still out for much of the area, including Fargo-Moorhead, Grand Forks, East Grand Forks. Still a freezing rain possibilities out around Bismarck, but that will be set to expire in about an hour from now. I think the main concerns for most of the area now is just the snowfall, and you will see that that first wave has moved out, and here comes the second wave this afternoon, and then tonight might actually even see a bit of clearing, and if we do, temperatures could drop below 0. So expect more snow today, 2 to 4 inches total over the course of the day in many locations. North wind at 10 to 25 miles per hour with some blowing and drifting. Tonight the snow should end quickly around the dinner hour, and then we'll just see some cloud cover linger much of the night. But make clear in eastern North Dakota, so that's the best opportunity to drop below zero. Tomorrow, a cold day, but some sunshine, and then another disturbance on Sunday night into Monday, and that still looks to have more snow potential and more wind potential than the event that's passing through today. Have a great Friday. I'm Storm Tracker meteorologist Daryl Richardson. Good morning again, everyone.
Thank you much, Daryl. Both lanes of I-94 are open again between Fergus Falls and Alexandria, Minnesota, after being closed for several hours this morning due to some accidents. The State Patrol had to clear several jackknife semis and rolled cars. The patrol says there were some injuries in those crashes, none of them believed to be life-threatening. Freezing rain that fell on parts of west central Minnesota early this morning contributed to those crashes. In North Dakota, meantime, a travel alert still in effect for southeastern North Dakota due to that snow that's still coming down and freezing rain. Passers-by dragged the driver of a burning car to safety this morning on I-29 in North Fargo. Fargo Fire Battalion Chief Dane Carley says, according to a dispatch call, the car going south on I-29 caught fire just before 8 this morning, about a half-mile north of 19th Avenue North. A second 911 call a minute later indicated that several people were trying to get the driver out of the burning car, and not long after that they smashed a window to get the driver out. When firefighters arrived, the engine and passenger compartments of the car were engulfed. The driver inhaled smoke at the scene and was taken to Essentia Health by FM ambulance for treatment. The Internal Revenue Service says 660,000 taxpayers will have their refunds delayed by up to 6 weeks because of a problem with the software they use to file their tax returns. The delay affects people claiming education tax credits who filed returns between February 14th and February 22nd. H&R Block says some of its customers were affected, but the company has resolved the problem. A spokeswoman says TurboTax customers were not affected by this delay. The software problem was on Form 8863, which is used to claim the American Opportunity Credit. Taxpayers can, of course, check the status of their refund on the agency's Where's My Refund website. Samsung Electronics is kicking up its competition with Apple with its new Galaxy S4 smartphone. The phone unveiled in New York City Thursday. The new version crams a 5-inch screen into a body slightly smaller than the S3's. It has features that allow you to control it by tilting and waving, just waving your hand. Apparently, you don't have to touch the screen. They are just several of the upgrades from the Galaxy S3, which has surged to become the best-selling Android phone on the market and the leading competitor to Apple's iPhone. Check out today's forum for a story about Fargo flood buyout homes, why they're likely to go for pennies on the dollar at auction. Also, look for more on that breaking news we just spoke of. John Norberg, the former Fargo doctor who was acquitted of drugging and sexually assaulting his wife. He's been given primary physical custody of his children in their divorce case. So look for more on that on Inforum.com. Also, tonight on WDAY-TV, the story of the person who pulled that driver from a burning car on I-29 this morning, and what becoming a U.S. citizen means for some new Americans. Busy last hour here in Fargo-Moorhead, lots going on. Thank you for joining us for InforumTV News. Have a great day. We'll see you next time.